Welcome to the Manic Pixie Dream Vlog. I'm your host, Caroline Georges, and welcome. So I haven't done a vlog in a minute. I've just been so busy. I've been doing comedy a lot. I've been having shows. I've been going to open mics every day. And another kind of something that's been occupying my time is I have a man now. I know. It's been so nice. I want to cry. It's just been so nice. I've wanted a boyfriend for a long time, and I was so scared of dating and of dating a piece of shit that I had just shut myself off from men for a long time, and I did it. I didn't date for a year. I didn't have a thing with a guy for a year. I completely focused on myself for a year, and I was planning on doing it for another year. I was planning on waiting until I was done with stripping, to find somebody and to meet somebody, and I thought that's where I needed to be in order to be ready for someone, and but I've met someone, and he's an only child. And something like growing up, my mother was always like, Caroline, never date an only child. They're selfish. And, but this guy, he's not selfish at all. He's such a provider. He pays for everything. He totally I don't drive. I Uber everywhere. And so he picks me up all the time to take me to open mics. And that's kind of how he and I met and kind of started our relationship a little bit was, we met going to open mics. He's much more advanced than I am. He's a working comedian, but he still goes to open mics to practice his new stuff. And so we met going to open mics, and so he just he started inviting me to go to open mics with him. Like he would just say, like, he would text me and just say, hey, if you want to go, I'll pick you up and we can go to this really great open mic at this bar. Or this really great open mic at a comic book shop, or this really great open mic at a laundromat. Like, the open mics are all over the place, and so I am so happy that it was the sweetest thing. It was so sweet. He and I were talking, and he was telling me a little bit about his childhood. He was sort of neglected. He was raised by his dad, and he and I have that in common. And he was sort of neglected, and so I, was hearing about him having this issue, and I was like, oh, well, that's why you're dating a stripper. And I, as a joke, and he just looked at me just like totally aghast, and he said, you're not a fucking stripper, you're a comedian. And God, he's such a great guy. He is such a great fucking guy. And I'm lucky to have him, and I'm ready for him to leave me whenever he's ready, whenever he wants to. I totally get it. I totally understand. But for the time being, this really great guy wants to be with me. And I'm a really good girlfriend. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a really good girlfriend. When we're together, I cook for him. I clean his apartment. I think he when we first started going out, I was just like, look, dude, you do not know how to dress yourself. You dress like, you don't know how to dress yourself. You don't wear pants that fit. Like you're wearing like you're wearing shitty sweatshirts. You need to dress yourself better. And he's like, okay, well, let's go shopping. And I was like, okay, cool. And so he let me take him shopping, and he bought himself an entire new wardrobe. And he let me pick out his clothes for him. Like, which is like, I'm sorry, like, if you're a girl, that's like the most amazing thing a guy could ever do for you. Fuck. Like, that was incredible. And, his apartment wasn't decorated. And so I was just like, I want to decorate your apartment. He was like, cool. And so we went to like we went to the Melrose flea market, and we got a bunch of shit for his apartment, and we decorated his apartment. And he has back problems he plays sports, so he has back problems and from playing sports, and so I rub his back every time whenever he wants, and I massage his knees and I massage his legs and his ankles, and I I'm really good at giving massages, and so that's something I can do for him, and and I love it. I fucking love it. It makes me feel so good about myself being able to be that for someone. I don't know. I don't think that makes me weak. I don't think that makes me submissive. I just think that makes me a caring partner. And I'm not judging other women who aren't like that. I don't think less of other women that aren't like that. That women that, like, I'm going to take care of my shit. I'm going to massage my own back. You massage your back. Like, that's... He pays for everything. My man pays for everything. My man takes care of me. My man picks me up to take me to open mics. My man does a lot for me. And so I give back to him whatever I can. And that's what I can provide. I clean his apartment. I cook him food and dinner. I make sure he's fed for the week. I make sure there are Tupperwares in his fridge every week, filled with spaghetti, filled with fettuccine, filled with enchiladas, filled with whatever, that I've made for him. And, he doesn't see me as a fucking stripper. And he sees me as a partner. And he sees me as a comedian. And I feel like he sees me for the person that I really am and the person that I have the potential to be. And that's just been so nice. That has been so fucking nice. And I just hope you're happy for me. I just hope people are just happy for me. That, and we've had some fights so far. We've been, he said something that really hurt my feelings. So I do jokes about stripping. I do jokes about comedy. I do jokes about the toxic femininity issues that I struggle with. Before I was open about stripping, I've been just drug out. I can't shut my mouth anymore I have to tell the truth about me. I couldn't live that way anymore. I have to tell the truth about me. I've gone to like one extreme to the other. Like, I'm doing vlogs about stripping. Like, this time 5 years ago, I would have full-blown relationships with men who had no idea I was a stripper. They thought I was a waitress. They thought I was a nanny. They thought, no question, like no questions asked. They just assumed that I was telling them the truth. And I was at times, if I had a part-time job as a barista, I just told them, oh, I'm a barista and that's what I do to support myself, and I would just leave the stripping part out of it or something like that. Or if I was in school, like I would just say I was in school and I would leave the stripping part out of it or something. Or I would just say I was a trust fund kid. Like I literally, like when I was doing internships, like I literally would just say like, oh, my parents support me. Like I just, like that's, I would lie, and I would come up with narratives about my life that would make me the person that was appropriate for the person that I was with. And they were lies, and I hated lying, and it made me ashamed of myself. It made me even more ashamed of myself. And so I feel like talking about like just being a manipulator, like manipulating people and being a liar. Like I feel like being honest about that kind of thing doesn't make me less trustworthy. It makes me more trustworthy because I'm laying down my weapons. These are my weapons. I don't have them in my hands. I'm not going to use them against you. I'm showing you what I use against certain people, guys that come to the club. I'm not going to use them against you. I'm not going to use them to hurt you. I use these weapons to hurt men at the club, sure, but I'm not doing that to you, And and I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes plenty of sense to me. And so anyways, so I did a joke. So we went to an open mic and I was practicing this joke about how I have had relationships with guys who had no idea I was a stripper, and how I think it's funny. Like, I think it's actually legitimately a funny premise of a joke, and I think it's I think that the premise of that has a lot of potential to be really good material for some really good jokes. And so I said that joke at an open mic right in front of him, where I got lunch with with a friend of mine the other day, and I told her about this, and she was just like, "What the fuck were you thinking, girlfriend?" And it was just like, "What do you mean?" And she was just like, "You guys have just started dating, and you told him that you're a master manipulator. Like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, of course he's not going to trust you." And that's what he said to me. He told me that he doesn't fully trust me, and he doesn't fully trust me not to lie to him. And and so I was going off of, he told me, he said to me that he doesn't see me as a fucking stripper. He sees me as a comedian. He sees me as Caroline. And, he sees me as Caroline. And that meant so much to me. That meant so fucking much to me that he said that to me. And I just feel like he took it back. And, so it really hurt my feelings when he told me that he doesn't fully trust me. And I told him that, and I just said, why would you want to date somebody that you don't trust? Why would you want to be with somebody you don't trust? And how can I trust you not to leave me if you don't trust me? And, because again, like, I've laid down my weapons. I've shown him these weapons, and I'm not using them against him. And if I ever do, he knows how to defend himself against these weapons, because I've shown him these weapons and how I use them. And I think that if anything, he should trust me more, that I'm trusting him with the most fucked up parts about me and the fucked up shit I've done, and this guy, I mean, fuck, like, maybe I should just shut up and be grateful that he still wants to be with me. That he doesn't care who I am, where I'm from, what I did. As long as I love him, he's cool with me, And, and I just, going back to the night we got together, I was feeling really lonely. I was feeling so lonely. I was feeling so down. I was feeling so sad. And I was out of kombucha. He makes kombucha and I make kombucha, and that's something that he and I have in common. We have kind of quite a few things in common. He's a cat person too. I'm a total cat person. I love cats, and he has 2 cats, and and so I just texted him, and I just asked him, can I come over and get some kombucha from you and play with your cats? I'm having a really hard time. And he just said yes, and so I went over. I had some kombucha. I played with his cats, and it was just really nice. And he put on music, and he and I talked for a few hours, and then this song came on, and he asked me to teach him how to dance, and he should never dance. He's not a dancer. He's not good at dancing. He shouldn't try it. He should have never tried it. He should have never danced in front of me. That's something I can unsee, and I don't think, I just, like, I hope you don't dance, I hope don't dance. And so I tried teaching him how to dance, and that didn't work out, but the song was Earth Angel. And so we started slow dancing to this really cheesy 1950s song. And I was just like, okay, like, how can I not kiss this guy? Like, that's the thing. How can I not kiss him? This is just too romantic. And so I kissed him, and I was just like, I don't know about this. I cannot do this. I can't date somebody right now. Like, just the fact that I'm here and just the fact that you're trying to do this with me just only proves to me that you're a piece of shit. And he said, okay, well, how about we try this? How about we try dating for a month and see how it goes? Just dating for a month. And so I agreed, and it's just been going so well. Like, it's just been, we've been fighting kind of a lot and stuff. And on Friday, we got into a fight. I committed to myself to stop smoking weed for 2 months. I was really struggling. There's going to be some trauma in my life that I'm going to have for the rest of my life, and I have to learn to live with it. And there's abuse in my life that I will never be able to speak about, and that I will never be, there's abuse in my life that I will never be able to speak about or ever be able to fully process through, and I have to accept that. Thanks a lot. And And so I was smoking a lot of weed. Like, I'd wake up in the morning and I just, no, I couldn't deal with the anxiety. I couldn't deal with the pain. I couldn't deal with the heartache. I couldn't deal with the hurt. And so smoking weed helped me get through that. And so I had to give it up. I had to stop. I have to live with this. I have to. And I'm a strong person, and I understand there are so many women that just, for the rest of their lives, they will just fuck up their lives and fuck up their lives and fuck up their lives until they're dead. Because, you know, because they wake up in the morning and it's just, I can't deal with this, you know, and those women are my people. Those women are my sisters, and those women are the women that I live to serve and that I'm going to help. And I first am going to help these women by first helping myself. And, you know, I have plans for my sexual assailant, David Murphy. I have plans. I am coming after that piece of shit. And I'm coming after that piece of shit like I would go after any man who has ever hurt a woman. I am going after David Murphy and every one of my abusers like I will go after every man that has ever hurt a woman. So instead of smoking my weed, I'm going to plot my revenge. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to plot my revenge in positive, healthy ways that's going to serve myself and that's going to serve other women. I really strongly believe that when you stand up for yourself, when you take a stand, and when you fight back, you're fighting back for the people that weren't able to do that same thing for themselves. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go at David Murphy with everything that I've got and make sure that everyone fucking knows about him. And what he did. That he sexually assaulted a girl who he knew was raped before. That he was getting off looking at me while I was screaming and crying for him to stop. And he was fucking jerking off to that. He's a fucking predator, and I'm going after him. Anyways, but back to this really great guy I'm dating. We got into a fight on Friday. My boyfriend knows that it's really important to me to stop smoking weed. And I don't, you know, the thing is that he doesn't drink and he doesn't smoke weed. He doesn't have a problem with drinking. He doesn't have a problem with smoking weed. He just thinks it's not positive for him. So it's just better that he doesn't do it. So he just has this amazing discipline. I cannot believe, like, you wouldn't believe how disciplined he is. I mean, he's reached a level of success in the comedy industry. He's an opener for a very, very famous comedian. He tours a lot. He goes on tour a lot. He performs a lot, and he opens for this guy at all of his shows and stuff. And he's, you know, that's something that I want for myself. I want to be somebody's opener. I want to be, you know, I want that for myself. I want to open for big comedians. And I'm with somebody that does that. And somebody that does that wants to be with me. And I'm sorry, but I just think, like, wow, like, this guy wants to be with me. And that means a lot to me. That this guy, who I think so highly of, looked at me and said, "You're not a fucking stripper. You're a comedian." Anyways, it was Friday night, and I smoked weed. This guy offered me weed, and it was just, you know what, fuck it. It's Friday night. I had a show. I had a show. I was performing that night, and I smoked weed before I had the show. And I performed great. I was great. I was stoned when I went on stage, but I was fine. I did a great job. Everyone was laughing. People were on the floor. I did a great job. I did a great set, despite being stoned. And, but still, maybe I would have performed better if I was sober. Maybe it would have been better if I had been sober. And that's something I have to start thinking about. Do I want weed and alcohol to be something that influences my performances, or do I not? And so I smoked weed, and and my boyfriend was kind of off over talking to other people, and so I, like, you know, like, oh, okay, don't tell him, okay, like, I'll smoke weed with you, but just don't tell my boyfriend, okay? You know, I was being sneaky. And my boyfriend told me he has trust issues with me, and there I was being sneaky. And, because I, you know, like, it's so immature. It's just like, you know, like, don't tell daddy, you know, like, it's just, I shouldn't be like that. You know, if I want to smoke weed, I could have communicated that with him. Like, hey, it's a Friday night. I just want to have fun tonight. I'm just going to smoke a little bit of weed. Like, is that okay with you? I don't want you to think less of me. I don't want you to be uncomfortable around me. But I didn't do that. I was being sneaky. And so he got mad at me, and he was just acting all pissed off at me, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not letting you ruin my night. I'm the kind of person that I want, when I go out, I want it to be a night to remember. I want it to be prom night. I want it to be, I want it to be a wedding. I want it to be a party. You know, I want it to be a night to remember. And so I got there, and I was talking with my friend, and we noticed, like, hey, there's no alcohol here. And so we went up to the guy who was putting on the show, and we were like, is there going to be alcohol? And he was like, well, nobody brought any. And so it's like, okay. So we went around, and we collected cash from everybody there. And we were like, so everybody gave like $3, $4, $5. Some people gave it $20. So we had, like, by the time we went around to everybody, we had about $100 for alcohol. So me and this girl and my friend, we went and got alcohol for everybody. And we did this, which is a great thing. You know, I put $20 of my own cash into buying alcohol for everybody, and I only had one beer. You know, like, I did something really nice, and I made that show a party. I made sure everybody had alcohol, and I made sure everybody had a good time. And I was mad at my boyfriend for not seeing it that way. But he saw it as, instead of staying and supporting him and watching him perform, which he did for me, I instead went off with my friend, stoned, and went and got alcohol. And I was mad at him. Like, look at what an amazing girlfriend you have. She saw that there was no alcohol at this party. She went around and got cash, and she made it happen for everybody. You know, and I wanted him to see me as that. Instead, he just saw me as fucking stoned. And you know, and so we kind of fought, and a friend mediated the fight, and, you know, and she's like, Caroline, you know, if you want to get stoned, you know, you're an adult, so that your choice, he shouldn't affect that. And, I don't know, I think she's right. You know, I don't think he should have gotten mad at me for smoking weed. I don't know, maybe he was mad at me for being manipulative about it, because it's just sort of in my nature to be that way, and I need to fight against my nature. You know, the Bible says, the heart is deceitful above all things. And what it means by that is we have to fight against the nature of our hearts, and what our hearts tell us to do. Because, you know, and so in my heart, I am manipulative. And in my heart, I am toxic in that way. And I have to fight against that. Not just to make myself a better person and to like myself more and to enjoy myself more and be able to go to bed at night knowing that I'm not a manipulator. But I have to be that person for other people now. I have to be a good girlfriend. And I shouldn't manipulate him. And I shouldn't lie to him. And so anyway, so we made up. And it ended up being a night to remember. I followed him into the bathroom, and we started making out in the bathroom, and then we snuck into, like, one of the bedrooms of this house, and we, like, you know, fooled around in this bedroom, and then we were like, okay, we probably shouldn't, you know, have sex in here, and so we we left and we went into his car, and he's like he's really tall and pretty big, and so his car is like, you know, wasn't big enough for him and stuff. So like we just went back to his place and we had sex, and we just and then we went and we got dessert, and we just hung out at this like dessert place for a few hours and just talked and hung out and had this amazing conversation and just spent time together, and it ended up being a night to remember. And you know, even though there was that little hiccup, it ended up being a night to remember. And yeah. But I want to tell you about my new job. I got hired to host open mics at this comedy cafe. It's a really good opportunity for me. I can practice comedy for 10 hours a day, 2 days a week. And I can I could get practice hosting shows. And it's just such an amazing opportunity for me. And everyone's telling me how lucky I am, and how lucky I am that the person who owns this comedy cafe chose me to do this. And that this person saw something in me that he wanted me to do this. And so I want to tell you about this guy. His name is Joe Minetti, and he is just this amazing guy. He has this business model for open micers, where it's just it's a business where they just do open mics all day, noon till midnight. They just do open mics every hour, and 10 to 12 people can sign up and perform for 5 minutes at this open mic. And they only have to pay $5, and so that's how it runs. And so he opened up his third open mic, you know, establishment, and it's called Fourth Wall, and people can just go there and practice their comedy, you know, and it's not irregular. It's not like every Wednesday. It's you know, every Monday. It's every day, Monday through Friday and Monday through Sunday. And this guy gave me this really great opportunity for me. And I'm so lucky. I'm so fucking lucky. And I'm so grateful for this man. And I just think this guy is just going to go down in history as just creating this really great business model. And so I'm so lucky to know him. I'm so lucky to have this opportunity. And, you know, it's a lesson in gratitude. I've been practicing gratitude, and gratitude has been bringing positive things into my life. Gratitude for what I have right now. I'm not a migrant. I'm not being raped in front of my own children. I'm not being held in a detention center. I don't live in a rainforest that's burning down. You know, there's not a tsunami hitting me. The horrible things aren't happening to me. And just because horrible things have happened to me doesn't mean that they're going to happen again. And life is life. And, you know, the most powerful lesson you can ever learn is that it doesn't matter if you're a good person. Life is not going to be kinder to you. And it doesn't matter if you're a bad person. Life could be great for you if you're a bad person, you know. And or life might seem great for you if you're a bad person. But practicing gratitude has just really helped me a lot, and I'm going to continue doing that. And I'm working really hard on forgiveness. I'm working so hard on forgiving people. For the men who have silenced me, I want you to know that I forgive you. You know, like I want to be able to say it and mean it. Like I forgive you. You know, and that is just, I think that practicing gratitude is going to get me there. Is going to get me there to where I see all of my abusers and I can just say to them, I forgive you. And anyways, that's my vlog for today. It's sort of long because I haven't done one in a while and a lot's happened. But anyways, I just wanted to tell you about my life that's been going on these past week or so, and just the changes that have been going on. Anyways, gratitude. Practice it. It works. It does. I experimented. I proved it. It's worked in my life. Anyways, this is the Manic Pixie Dream vlog. I'm the Manic Pixie Dream girl, and have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.